Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 19, Episode 12.
I need you to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hype the video. I have a goal for this episode. Is it possible that we can get 300 subscribers on this video alone? I feel like a lot of y'all are watching the show, but y'all not subscribed. Can we get 300 plus subscribers for this video? Blair, I feel like we got less show for this season because usually, Married at First Sight go from October to March.
Yeah.
We got less show and we got less experts.
Yeah.
When the experts came on this episode, I forgot they was on the show.
Yeah.
You ready to walk us through this?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
We start with Megan and Derek.
Yeah.
Her parents are coming to visit and they plan to tell them that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So the mom thinks that the surprise is an animal. She's cool with it as long as it's not a baby.
Mommy just talk too much sometimes.
And it's revealed in the gift, pregnancy test.
Mm-hmm.
And mom was like, I know it's a joke. If it was real, she'd be excited. But she was like, Megan's a prankster. She knows they're playing with her.
Mm-hmm.
They explained to her it's not a joke. And the parents are excited. And mom does let them know, you guys haven't had a lot of time to get to know each other. There's also going to be a lot of hormones involved. And Derek, your life is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's ready, he's committed, and he thinks that she will be a great mom.
Unless y'all had some type of conversations that wasn't so surface level off the camera, how do you know any of these things, Derek?
Yeah.
Every time you had a conversation or try to correct something or try to speak up for yourself, she said she felt ambushed, bullied, bamboozled, blind, all the above. We gonna do a deep dive on them of how irresponsible it is for you to be on Married at First Sight and to get pregnant by this person that you are married to or in a trial marriage with. Let's keep going.
Okay. Rhonda and Pat. Rhonda wants to know why he can't be himself around her.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder why, Rhonda. Pat says it's honestly not just her.
Okay.
He's had a lot of pressure on himself growing up to meet expectations. He's from an Air Force family. He went into the Air Force Academy to make his dad proud. In relationships, he would try to be the best husband, and he put too much pressure on himself to do that. And that's where he ended up losing himself in relationships, and he feels it happening again. He felt a lot of anxiety and pain throughout this experience, and that's just not who he is. That's him with stressors on him. And Rhonda tells him that's life. Pain is a part of life. Pat feels going into protect mode when he feels like he's being attacked. Rhonda asked him, can he be confident and sure on working on their relationship and be his authentic self all the time? He doesn't really know if he can do that.
Pain is a part of life. Rhonda is an abuser.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, she is. Because she's been abusing Pat this whole time. And I don't know if Pat likes it or I don't know if Pat too small of himself to speak up. But it's just these things to where, what if, while you was talking about your dead daddy, right, or talking about the things in your life, he just said, well, pain is part of life. It's a dismissive statement.
It is dismissive.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? It's basically enough about you. And basically what you had to go through in your marriage. And I understand that Pat gave this long answer and things like that, and it's a deep answer and it's a thought out answer, but the answer do not match the question. The reason why I can't be myself is because, Rhonda, you've been rude, you've been abrasive, you've been brash with me when I try to be myself, and even when I try to listen to things and be attentive, you find every reason to see what I did was wrong. Those are the right answer. We don't need to go into your whole past history and try to make, because what happens is she escapes accountability from that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And you making it all about you to where what you said can be true, but it may not apply to the question of why you can't be yourself with her.
Yeah, but I think I'm glad that he explained that, because I think that answers the question for me, because yes, somebody can be abrasive, rude, all those types of things. But if you are somebody who's somewhat secure in yourself, I think everybody has insecurities, but if you're somewhat secure in yourself, you're not going to just be a punching bag, So I think it does add an element of understanding to why Pat just kind of, he's a type to fawn, instead of, flight or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Or fight. So I would have appreciated Rhonda to have appreciated his explanation and try to see where she can taper herself in different ways to help him develop in that way of being able to be more of himself. But according to her, is life, deal with it, and you need to step up to the plate and be a stronger person.
Pain is part of life.
And I think that is very insensitive, especially coming from your partner. I think that people who aren't attached to you can be kind of rude and brash in that type of way, but somebody who is invested in your development and wants you to be able to grow and be the best person you can be at any stage of your life, that's not helpful at all.
You ain't lying when you tell the truth, Blair.
We get to Belinda and Chad. They haven't talked since the argument about production. He even slept at his house one night. They end up calling Dr. Pia to help. Chad expresses how this show isn't real life and things end up bubbling over. He's just not comfortable with the process, but he loves Belynda.
Stop right here for a second for me. Do you give any credence to what he's saying right here?
Meaning what?
Meaning,
do I believe what he says?
Do you believe that there is something to where, you know, it is a TV show and something about this that he's seeing because we're not seeing it? Do you believe that what he's saying can be factual?
I believe what he says. I don't have any reason not to believe what he says. I think it's more to it that maybe he might not even recognize or wants to really dig into. But I think currently, yes, the show is stressing him out. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I go back to that first encounter he had with production where they was basically asking him a question and they were trying to make him talk and things like that. And he was like, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Like, it is something to having to produce a scene to where he can definitely say it's not real life. And I do think, to his point, things probably did bubbled over, and maybe how he went about it may have it may be some room for improvement. But I think we should listen to what Chad is saying about, hey, I understand that I'm happy for the show, but there's something about this that's not real, and I'm tired of it.
And Dr. Pia says that she hears him. And this isn't a dismissal of his schedule. There's a lot going on when it comes to filming a show.
That is true.
Belynda says that also there were not wedges being made by production between Josh and Jaylen. He explains that he talked to Josh about it, and there's no point in really explaining himself because he knows the conversation he had. And Dr. Pia brings up that it is a possibility it could be a different of perspective. And Belynda says, for sure, as a it didn't happen.
Yeah.
He keeps saying things will be different when they get off the show and in his home. And she's wondering if he's saying things that aren't true. And she really can't trust his word at this point.
Okay.
Now she's not too sure about decision day being a yes. Any thoughts about that before Dr. Pia coerces them to stay together?
Pretty much, right? And that's probably, and listen, that's why when he said they try to put a wedge between you, I was like, I don't know if this show does that. I've seen this show literally tell MM to move back in with a catchy. So when he said wedge, I was like, Chad, I don't know if I can be with you right there. But to your point, she's not sure that her decision is going to be yes on decision day. I'm like, you felt this way the whole time, Belynda. I don't think this one situation, if this one situation motivates you the whole time for you to say no, then you was never going to say yes. You basically had to be convinced to say yes. But I will say this, though, when it comes to Chad, people don't know you. She don't know you. She can't trust your word. So if you are showing one way in this trial marriage while we living together in this apartment and you saying, trust me, once we get home, it's going to be much better. Why should she trust you?
Exactly.
Like she don't know you. That's the whole point of a trial marriage. Of hey,
well, it's a real marriage, but yeah,
no, but
trial period,
but a trial period with a real marriage, rather. Yeah, you're right. To where hey, you don't have to really trust what I say. I can see how we live, dude. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I don't agree with Chad with the whole like it would be better once we get home. Well, she don't know that, and to me, she shouldn't trust that.
Okay, I'm gonna play around with this thought of a difference of perspective.
Okay,
let's say that Josh showed Jaylen a different text message than the text or the call that he had with Chad. I could possibly see Josh telling Chad they bringing up this stuff about hobbies.
Yeah.
They making us talk about my ex. And I could see Chad surmising they're trying to draw a wedge between y'all because they making y'all talk about these difficult conversations. Yeah. And I don't know why that would be hard to explain other than the fact that Chad wants his word to be bond and he doesn't have to explain himself because he's a boss. You know what I'm saying?
And to your point, I actually like that you opened that door because I ain't think of that. Which conversation was it
Yeah.
Was it the most recent conversation we had with Josh, or was it the conversation where Josh got caught lying?
Yeah.
And they had to hold him accountable for lying. And now we talk about Burning Man. And now basically when Pastor Cal said, tell him what you feel. I don't want to go to Burning Man. They drawing a wedge between me and Burning Man. like that could have been like, since you opened the door, I'll be like, I can see your point. Go ahead. Keep going.
But I think the issue there is that with Chad's frustrations and the fact that the process is getting to him, I think that he's not only closing himself off to Belynda, but he's presenting a nastier version of himself. And I don't see how that's something that Belynda can truly buy into at this point.
No. Yeah. That's facts, though. That's
mm-hmm.
facts.
So Dr. Pia asked him if they can agree to be honest and direct moving forward. They both agree. Belynda is trying to figure out if she wants to take that chance with him, though.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like she keeps putting herself aside to make him feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And she also doesn't have intimacy with him. He drinks at night because it helps him go to sleep, and then she's on her phone alone. Chad said that there's a big dog in the bed. He's trying to respect her by not kicking the dog out the bed. Mm-hmm. She's willing to see where things can go, but she's still processing and needs to take some time. And this is the thing where I get with Belynda, where I'm just like, girl, like, you're just like ignoring the fact that he don't want the dog in the bed.
100%.
like he brings that up and you're talking about, yeah, we're just gonna have to see how it goes. Yeah. I'm just like, so we can't even talk about the dog being in the bed at all. And the thing with him drinking every night, that's some people's nightcap type of thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like within their relationship, if that's not something that she is comfortable with, then she needs to voice that and not just say her issue is that he's not laying with her. Maybe it's all of it, you know? And that's my thing about people skirting around issues. Like, be completely direct in what the issue is. And I think that's part of it, as well as her feeling like she has to constantly put herself aside, say what you want to say and see where it goes. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I think there is some credence to what you said about she had to put herself aside, but also she also wants to be, she wants the attention on her. And when I say attention, maybe not attention, but she could be self-centered just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. When she said we don't have intimacy, I need to know what she means. Does she only means with the fact that they don't go to bed together? Or does she mean overall in their relationship, right? Because all I can hear in my head is these compliments that he keeps giving to her, even to the time where he took her, I think he took her with the bow shot. What was the thing?
Oh, archery.
That, right? Mm-hmm. He straight took her there and she enjoyed herself.
We're good at taboo.
Right? We're not good at taboo, right? And so I'm like, what does she mean by intimacy? Is she only say intimacy because she wants him to be in the bed and he don't want to be in the bed with the dog? Like, are you coloring all of that with one crayon?
And isn't a dog a roadblock to intimacy, I would think, in the bed?
No, for sure. And maybe to Belinda's point, when I say she may be self-centered, maybe she don't want to bend. I don't see her as flexible as you do. You get what I'm saying? I see her as, this is what makes me comfortable. And the minute I'm uncomfortable, I'm out. You get what I'm saying? Or I don't like it. And now I don't know what I'm going to say on decision day. So when it comes to the dog in the bed, I 100% agree with him. He is not going to say, hey, I don't want the dog in the bed. You love the dog. Obviously, you love the dog so much you want to sleep with it. So funny how all these people who let the dog sleep in the bed with them, it never sleeps on their side. You know what I'm saying? It's your dog, but the dog got to sleep on my side. So that's why I'm like, Belinda needs to bend more. While Chad, you need to bend too. You get what I'm saying?
We get to Britney and Will.
Yeah.
They have had conflict, but Britney thinks that's good because they can get through it. And she asked, has the emotional connection grown?
Stop. She's inexperienced. Britney got to have her way at all times, like a kid. This is a question that she asked way before, days ago, that got her crying in the bathroom on the retreat. And now she's like, we're in a good place. Now I can finally get the answer that I want. Goes back to the whole point when he took sex off the table and they had a good date a couple days ago. And now she's like, can we have sex? And now all of a sudden you feel bad when he said no again. And now it's a bad day. Britney, you are setting yourself up to get hit upside the head with these answers. Why are you asking a question that you ran to a roadblock before? Because you got to have it your way and you need this. I have a problem with someone who needs, like, basically somebody's like affections, someone's what is the word, approval. Like she's desperate for this marriage. And guess what? She asked the question, hey, have our emotional connection grown? Do you see it now? And what did Will say?
It's a trick question.
You're playing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Will forgot the answer that he gave before and he just mistakenly said it's a trick question? Or is he doing it intentionally? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, Will is playing this whole, because you open yourself up to Will so much, because you gave him the keys to your heart and basically the keys to your emotion, people love power. He's going to toy with it. He's going to do whatever he wants to do with it. He's going to ding a carrot in front of it. He's going to say, well, it's a trick question because you know what? Last time I didn't give you the right answer at the retreat, right? Because he knows that to him, he sees you as a kid that he has to pacify. Let's keep going.
Yeah, he's telling her that he thinks that they do have a strong connection and he looks forward to it growing. And Britney asks, so how does that correlate to love?
Okay.
And he says action and feeling, pretty much. Britney interpreted his answer as more action than feeling. For her, it's more feeling because she's thinking of him constantly. She thinks that their definition of love is different and it sounds more like an obligation to him. And he says no matter what he says is now not how she wants to hear it, and he feels like she's discrediting him. Britney explains that she wasn't trying to discredit him. She was just trying to point out a difference, and she knows that she makes him happy. She apologizes for turning the conversation from something that was supposed to be romantic to a not romantic space, and she is going to have to make sure that she gives him some space in order for him to be open.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the part where I just feel like Britney you want it to be whatever it is in your head so bad that you can't allow it to be what it actually is and actually listen to the man. He gave you the answer you wanted. And then you start picking at what does love mean to him. And that answer isn't sufficient because he says actions and feelings, but all you hear is obligation. So I don't know what world Britney is living in.
I don't know either, Blair.
Because she's not having the conversation as the same one that's being had with her. She's having a separate conversation in her head compared to the conversation she's having with her husband. So I don't have an answer for it other than Britney needs to do better at listening and responding to what is going on in front of her. So
it's immaturity.
Yeah.
And it's desperation. I remember early on in our relationship, early on, right? Maybe the first year, right? I said, every day I choose you. Like every day, like to me, it's important for me that when I wake up every day, I choose the person that I'm with. I choose you. And some people who is inexperienced, who do not have experience in a relationship and know that a relationship takes work and it takes choosing someone every day can hear, is that an obligation? You don't feel love for me? What motivates my choice is all the above. So when he said it's an action and a feeling, right? He's trying to basically say, hey, listen here. Even though I'm not as expressive with my feelings, right? My actions is, hopefully you see it in my actions, right? Now, here's the thing about it. She takes it and makes it sound like an obligation because she says the way I love is kind of like an obsession. Right? And you're not obsessed with me because I think of you constantly because I need you. And the thing that I don't understand is how is someone who have the least experience in relationship is trying to build out how relationships should go. Britney has said it herself. She do not have experience in relationships. So why should we go by what you think relationships should be? It makes no sense. And that's when I'm like, Britney, you need to just take a step back, look in the mirror and say, I am enough.
Yeah.
You need to, like, you really need some type of mirror therapy.
And Will is not enough for you.
No, he's not.
He's not going to meet you where you're at.
He's not. Yeah. Because to him, he's like, if you don't think you're enough, then why should I think you are enough?
Yeah, why should I give you something you can't give yourself?
Exactly.
And that's not what you need in a partner.
No.
You want somebody who, because people don't come into a relationship with everything figured out. When I, got with my husband, there were issues and past hurts and all these different things that were playing a part in our relationship that had to be worked out and cleaned up with his patience, his love, and my development. So, I mean, nobody has to come in perfect, but at the same time, you have to realize when you're tripping. And I do appreciate that she apologized. However, she starts crying and gets emotional and then kind of takes the moment away from
Exactly.
From addressing where he's at, and now she feels bad and he has to console her for feeling bad.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, Britney, like, I get that can be overwhelming, but she has to get some type of regulation about her. And I'm not against meds, okay? Sometimes we need a little something to help regulate us, and I'm not against it. Okay?
No, you're 100% right. That's why it goes back to what I've been saying. He views her as a baby, and now she's crying because she disappointed somebody, and she's like, it makes me feel sad, and now he gotta.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, Belinda and Chad, they are wanting their relationship to work, so she goes over to his house to have a conversation.
Yeah.
He understands how she feels about his behavior. He agrees that he was essentially out of pocket, and he apologizes.
Yeah.
He talks about how he never really complained about the dog sleeping in the bed, but the dog barks a lot. They're kind of talking about different things in the relationship that they're having issues with. And she does not think that the dog barks all day. However, he can hear the dog when he's coming home from work on the first floor. He asks if she wants this to work. She says she's willing, and he says, but do you want to? And she tells him, if I'm willing, then that means that I want to. He asks, how can they move forward? There is a back and forth to where he's expressing his thoughts, but he's interpreting her responses as her arguing. If she's not free to express herself, then she's going to leave. So she gets in her car. She believes that he wants to be married, but not to somebody. He wants to be married, but clearly not to somebody he can have a conversation with.
I'm 100% against Belinda on this scene right here. The reason why I feel this way, she came to the house preparing to argue, right? Chad opens up with an apology that I felt like is, you like a day and maybe $1 short with this apology. But guess what?
But that's a great way to open the conversation.
That's a great way to have a conversation, right? Maybe, here's the thing, here's the reason why I say she went there with closed-mindedness. She went there already with the mindset of, hey, listen, I talked to my daughter, and I'm going to let you know that what you said was a lie. How I know she did that? Because he brought up the dog, and he basically said, look, I ain't want to be disrespectful about the dog, that's why I ain't want to complain about the dog being in the bed, but the dog be barking all day. Well, how you know the dog be barking all day?
Yeah.
And now the conversation turned into, besides trying to get the marriage to work, now he got to prove or disprove or whatever the hell y'all was doing in this scene of if the dog bark all day. He says, look, the dog bark all day. She's like, you're not even home all day. Neither of us is home. So how do you know? He said, I can tell when I'm walking in through the garage. And that's when Belinda's like, well, the dog is barking because you open the door and you're coming. It's like now we have a conversation about the dog. So you didn't really come here with the mindset or the main focus to be the marriage as much as you try to say to us that it was about the marriage. No, you did. You got detoured very quick, right? And now they're having a conversation about, hey, Chad is like, I'm getting the feeling that, like, it's a tug of war here. Like, are you willing? And things like that. Like, do you want to? She says, I'm willing. And he's like, well, but do you want to? Well, if I'm willing, that means I want to. I'm just like, why are y'all doing this tug of war for? And I felt like Belinda started it with the first tug of war, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that Belinda came in irritated.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And the thing is, the situation is irritating. So I'm not going to fault her for coming in irritated. She was arguing the small details. Instead of trying to get to the overall point. But I think part of that is her feeling like she's been pushing herself to the side. And I think that she doesn't want Chad to come in here and have this conversation and think that he's going to run it.
Oh, 100%.
So I think that she wants to make sure that she is letting her points and her opinions and everything to be known. And she's not going to shrink or shy away from whatever she feels like she wants to say, even if it is a detour from the main conversation. So I think that they did need to just kind of wash the convo and start the other day. I felt like him asking her, do you want to, after she said she was willing, was annoying. So
but I think he's getting the feeling of, I don't think Belinda has shown a lot of want to in this relationship. Yeah, I think she showed that she's willing to go through the process because it's an obligation, as we go back to that last word that Britney used and things like that, because it's a show. And guess what, even if I have a hair appointment and they need me on this day, I will cancel the hair appointment. I will bend and do all these things, but it doesn't necessarily. Do you want to cancel your hair appointment? Do you want to do this marriage? I don't think she showed a lot of want to, but she's willing to go through the process.
Yeah. So I think that the conversation, I don't think Belynda came in with the best attitude.
Yeah.
I think she was like willing and trying to will herself to have the conversation, but I think she was just irritated.
That's
I think
fair.
I don't think it would have. They should have had it on a different day when she was in a better headspace, because by the fact that he came in with an apology, I feel like that probably was a lot for him to do, and it just didn't go well.
Yeah, and but my thing is, I understand when anybody apologizes, it could be a lot. But for Chad, if he feel like he always barking orders, he may want too much credit for his apology. Dude, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but in this moment, I didn't gather that.
Yeah,
I feel like he was trying to come in as humble as he could.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So we learned that Rhonda's stepdad passed away.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Josh and Jaylen have dinner. She cares for him, wants him to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want him to feel like she's making him give up things that he enjoys, and wants to make sure that they get to a point to where he's fulfilled in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoys music, but it's not what makes him who he is. And Jaylen says maybe they could go to some type of retreat together. And Josh already feels like going to Burning Man without her wouldn't be the same. He wouldn't go if she doesn't want to go. Jaylen fears that he is just telling her what she wants to hear so she can say yes on decision day.
Yeah, Josh is lying. How the conversation went specifically was, she said, you could go to Burning Man 1 year, and then next year we can do something together. She basically said you could go by yourself. She is still on her stance of, I ain't going with you.
Yeah.
And guess what? No is a complete sentence.
I'm not mad at it.
Right? But that kind of gave me a little behind the curtain peek on how she probably feels about it. I think if Burning Man is so important to him, don't make it you go by yourself 1 year, the next year you don't go to Burning Man, we do a retreat together. Keep Burning Man with him. Like, whenever it is, I think it's the end of August going into the first week of September, like, you got to schedule that out to where that's Josh time. You get what I'm saying? If he loves it so much. And Josh, do not lie to me or my wife about how Burning Man is not that important to you, because when she said no in front of the experts when they was gone, you was like, but why? You get what I'm saying? So that's why when he says something across the lines of, hey, I already feel like Burning Man ain't gonna be the same without you, like, I'm not even pressed to really go like that. Josh, tell me the time you went with Jaylen to Burning Man.
Yeah.
When you just met her like 30, 40 days ago. So that's why I'm like, what do you mean? This goes back to that conversation to where they was talking about, hey, do y'all follow each other's exes, or basically do like you follow your exes? And that's when Josh was like, yeah, I still follow my ex. And that's when Jay was like, she don't. And that's when he was like, you know what? I'm following my ex. I'm gonna block her. I'm gonna do all this stuff.
Yeah, his panic responses are lies.
Yeah, so
that's why I'm done listening to Josh.
So that's why I'm like, it feels like that. You ain't gotta basically appease her so much to where it's like, you know what? Burning Man, who cares about Burning Man? I hate Burning Man. It's like, we don't believe you, Josh.
So Belinda and Chad meet up again. Dr. Pia arrives to mediate this conversation. And I think this is what they needed.
Yeah.
Belinda thinks that he wants to control things, and things can only be fixed the way that he wants them to.
Okay.
Chad hasn't been able to cope the way that he normally does, and he would just like for somebody to understand. Belinda has been understanding and making sure he feels okay, but feels like she is on eggshells. She fears him getting upset. She is uncomfortable with conflict because her ex-husband used to always argue and yell. Her kids had to see his blow-ups, and she has created a safe space for herself with peace and positive people in her life.
Yeah.
Dr. Pia tells her that that is a reaction to trauma. We become hyper vigilant of what has traumatized us before. But there is a reality that you cannot live in a bubble. You have to realize he is not your past, and you have to figure out if you want to be alone and single or to navigate in the relationship.
What's your thoughts?
There is truth to what Dr. Pia is saying, and I respect her professionalism and her expertise. At the same time, people can give you hints of how they are, and those hints are enough for you to decide if that's something that you want to partake in. Yeah,
that's fair.
I don't have to go through the ends of the relationship to figure out if this is something that I want to be a part of. If you have such a hard time and such a struggle with dealing with something that I think is not that big of a deal, then I can see Belinda's saying, in the future, when there are small inconveniences or small issues, are you going to have the same reaction?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily believe that's her being hyper vigilant to anger or anything that's disturbing her peace. I think that is a part of it, to where there is going to be conflict. But this, to me, doesn't feel like a healthy conflict in a relationship of people trying to merge their lives and understand each other. It's more of a conflict of, he has outbursts when things don't go his way, and I'm not going to be a part of that. So
99.2% I'm with you.
all right.
Right? Almost 100. I like that you wrote down the exact quote right here, because now that I'm seeing it, she said that she had created her own safe space with peace and positive people. Right? Because of her past marriage with her ex-husband, there probably was a lot of arguing, as she said, a lot of yelling, a lot of blow-ups that the kids had to see. You are within your right 100%, like you said, Blair, to say, is that a duck? I don't like ducks. I'm allergic to ducks. I'm out. You get what I'm saying? It's a duck, right? But at the same time, I need her. She also says something that kind of conflicts with what she's been saying here, because even though she can take what she's been through in the past and use it as a positive way to move forward, I don't know if she's doing that 100%. She may be doing that or using what happened in her past as a way to stay stagnant. And she said that she's uncomfortable with conflict. So does that mean that if you are someone who deals with conflict, does that make you less positive? Does that make you less peaceful? Do that make you no longer a safe space? You're going to have conflict. That's why I'm like, if you're uncomfortable with conflict, then you shrink, right? Then that is a potential for you to get run over, right? That is a way for you to potentially cower. Not saying that she does, but I'm just talking from someone that I've seen people who are uncomfortable with conflict. So you will let somebody run you over, or basically, no, it's good, it's cool, it's good. And I'm like, Belinda has shown that, okay, what happens if you're uncomfortable with conflict, but I'm not, right? That don't make me a less positive person. That just means that conflict arrived at our door, and I'm going to address it. And I think when it comes to her whole thing where she says she's been understanding and making sure that he feels okay, but she feels like she's on eggshells. Yes and no, right? Because, like I said, the most recent example of he's trying to see if you're okay by letting the dog sleep on his head, right? And by him basically trying to find a middle ground of, I'll lay with you for a little bit, but then at the same time, I'm going to wind down by myself. And you kind of disregarding that and kind of making it go like, what? But I want you to lay with me, right? And I'm just like, well, that's not you actually trying to make things work. We've seen evidence of you not really bending and being flexible. But to your point, I think Dr. Pia has an agenda. It doesn't mean that it's a bad agenda. The agenda is y'all came on the show to be married. And I think Dr. Pia's whole point was not to go against what you just said, Blair, but to make sure that both of them give each other and themselves 100% a shot at this.
Yeah.
Don't eject yet. Yes, it can be bad and you still have your decision on decision day, but I think, Chad, you need to do better in showing how you're going to be in this trial period of y'all being married and things like that. And Belynda, you need to show yourself of basically, hey, not holding someone basically at fault of what happened in your past, right. Not being stagnant and things like that, not shrinking from conflict. Because at the end of the day, I know some positive people. I know a lot of positive people. But at the end of the day, you're not going to disrespect them. You're not going to run them over. And they would address that. And that doesn't make them any less positive.
So we get to Megan and Derek.
Yeah.
They are pretty much clearing things out of the house, making some room for the new baby. And Derek is taking care of everything. He is talking to her about how decision day is different for them because they have, something that's pretty much going to help them stay together. And Megan says that, well, there's a still option to not be together and co-parent. She doesn't want the baby to be the only reason that they stay together. And this wasn't a bad conversation.
It wasn't a bad conversation.
I think that it's just the reality that they're still figuring out their relationship while preparing for a child together. And they have to see if this is something that they want to continue to try to work on. And at this point, they seem calm enough and to be able to make things work. Derek doesn't seem to have any requests, so Megan doesn't seem to be having any tantrums.
Exactly.
So for right now, it could work, but I also think it's fair if you guys aren't going to be able to do well in a relationship, the option of co-parenting is there, and it's not a bad option. It's just a different option.
Yeah.
Especially because y'all don't know each other. Y'all move really fast.
I'll say this. I'll be a little bit more direct. I think it is a bad option. And the bad option is actually getting pregnant and things like that during this period. I'm not comfortable with the whole idea, even though it is a reality, and I know a lot of people have done it and done it well. I'm not comfortable with the idea to where now the kid got to live with the decision of its parents' immaturity. You get what I'm saying? The whole idea of saying, hey, it's not an option, there's still an option for us not to be together. We can still just co-parent. And I'm just like, yeah, but I would think that, hey, since I was open enough to open my legs and things like that and have unprotected sex with this stranger who is my husband, that I would do everything in my power to where I would try to eliminate that option, though, to where we have to co-parent. Hey, how about we go to therapy? How about we actually do some things that we can actually grow our connection besides actually making co-parenting an equal option as staying together, not staying together? I'm just like, y'all shouldn't even be in this situation, to be honest.
Okay, so we get to Rhonda and Pat.
Yeah.
Pat has been supportive to Rhonda during this time of her stepfather passing. Yeah. She is grateful for the relationship, but she just wants Pat to be his authentic self. And Pat says that is his intention, and he plans to be himself with her.
Let's keep going.
This is Pat just appeasing Rhonda again. I don't know if Pat can do it. So it's the final day before decision day. The couples will spend their last day alone. Mm-hmm. Britney is sad that Will is going to be leaving. It could be forever. Will said it could be. But she doesn't like him joking like that.
But you started it, though.
She starts crying. She's going to miss him. They end up cuddling up. She loves him. And he says, well, what kind of love? Kind of trying to spin her question on him that she asked on the boat. But she doesn't really take it to heart. She seems to take that in stride.
So she says, this is not the nanny cam. Mm-hmm. This is now, guess what? There's cameramen, there's producers in the room, right? She says, I love you. Mm-hmm. And what does he says? What kind of love? But you said I love you to her before.
Yeah.
Why can't you give this to her in the moment to where now there's people in the room, there's producers in the room, there's cameras in the room, to where now you're kind of playing the riddle game. So you can say I love you because I've seen you say it.
Yeah.
But now in the moment to where she's feeling sad, this is the last day, that, hey, I don't have to dangle the carrot in this moment, but you choose to because it's fun to you. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? And guess what? I think at this point, Britney, you just got to take it's not no you got to take. She's going to take whatever Will is because she needs this.
Yeah. We get to decision day. Britney woke up feeling at peace with her decision. Will is realizing that he's ignored his feelings based off of how she would react. Mm-hmm. He is going to have to figure out if he can wait for her to learn to accept his feelings. Mm-hmm. Well, we learned that Will ended up calling Britney and telling her that he is going to say no. Britney is getting her makeup done. She is trying not to lose it. And Will is saying that he cannot be in a relationship where his feelings don't matter. Britney says part of her doesn't believe him, and that makes her want to fight for the relationship.
Your thoughts?
I think this is the part where Will did himself a disservice for constantly bending to Britney's emotions. Facts. Because even if you're in a relationship with a highly emotional or reactive person, I can understand to where you get tired and you just don't want to deal with it. But you're not actually giving the relationship a fair shot because you're not presenting your full self.
Facts.
And that person who's emotional and who's upset, they're going to be upset anyway. So you might as well be honest about where you stand and not hold back on situations, or even the fact that he threw the whole what kind of love back on her tells you that he was still irritated with her, but he's acting as though he's not. So don't be authentic and truthful to where you stand and what your feelings are throughout the whole process, or else you're going to end up blindsiding somebody and feeling like you're getting the short end of the stick when really you played yourself.
Yeah.
I also feel like Britney, this is the part where it frustrates me that she don't want to listen. What do you mean you want to fight for the relationship? The man don't want to be with you. So you're going to beg him to stay with you.
She don't believe him.
Even the part to where she was saying, I don't know if it was this episode, but she's like, I can tell you like me. I can tell you love me. And I'm just like, clearly you don't, because you have to ask him every other second. Yeah. So why are we lying to ourselves? So that's the only thing with Britney that is frustrating me is that I want her to listen to what he's saying and move accordingly. Don't try to make this man stay with you for what? You're not going to get what you want out of him.
Because she's desperate.
Yeah.
And she's obsessed with the idea of relationships, marriage, being loved, all these things. She's broken, right? But that's besides the point. We already know that about Britney. You hit the nail on the head, and I'm actually surprised you actually saw this with Will, right? I actually think it's actually to his it was to his detriment that he did not speak up for himself. But he knew he wasn't speaking up for himself. Mm-hmm. So now he's going to say, and listen, he knows how much Britney wants this marriage to work. And I'm not saying because she wanted to work so bad that he needs to say yes. But all this time, he didn't just find out that he wasn't expressing himself or he wasn't free to express himself. He knew all this time, and he waited all the way to the last day to be like, I just realized you didn't just realize. That your feelings was being ignored. You knew all this all the time. That's why you know how to pacify her. That's why whenever she was crying and things like that, you pulled her close. So you knew how to get her to regulate her emotions by what you was doing. And through all of that, you knew that your feelings was not being met and things like that. And to Blair's point, it is 100% your responsibility that your feelings and how you feel get met by you speaking up, by you and to Blair's point, if she's emotional anyway, you might as well just get all your issue off. Mm-hmm. But no, how can I actually get this to affect her the most? I'm going to tell her the day before the sitting day. This is going to be my last act.
Evil mastermind.
It's going to be the last day, or basically my last act of being basically this manipulator of her emotions, because she gave it all to me and things like that. And I feel like at the end of the day, he's going to say yes. I feel like he's doing all of this as a show to say yes at the end, just so he can just toy with her emotions. That's what he likes to do, and things of that nature. So it's just weird. They both come off as, this comes off as a high school relationship.
Very much so.
Like very high school, very 10th grade, like just weird. You get what I'm saying? But make sure y'all subscribe unless you got something else to say.
I will say, when he left out the apartment, and maybe this is just,
you about to nitpick.
But the way he walked out that apartment and when he gave her a kiss and left, it really just felt like, for some people who have, had experiences, and you didn't see the person after the experience, it kind of felt like all right, kiss you, all right, you know what I'm saying? Have a great day, and you'll never see that person again. I don't know why it felt that way to me. It felt kind of like a one night hit it and quit it.
It didn't feel that way to me.
Goodbye. It didn't feel like oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss you.
Obviously he's saying she's gonna say no. So obviously his intention is that I'm not gonna see you again.
Yeah.
But I think do not try even though what Will is saying is actual, Britney have not shown any care or basically any attention towards how he feels. This is not an epiphany that Will just had. Even though she didn't do it, Will knew about this way before, and he could have addressed it way earlier to give them a fighting chance at this marriage.
And he chose not to.
But he chose to do it at the time that he knew would affect her the most. I'm sorry. That's all I got to say. You got anything else to say?
That's all I got.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. We see you.
Bye.